should be entering the main forecourt of the presidency. His Excellency Frank Walter Steinmeier will be engaging our officials together with the powerful delegation that followed him from the German side. In fact, as I told you earlier, there will be bilateral high-level meetings with the host president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now, while we are waiting for the military to, of course, begin the parade, let us continue from where you stopped off.
Yes, so for us, Germany remains a critical partner to the Republic of Ghana and also other subnational entities, agencies, civil society organizations that are working in Ghana. And as I mentioned, we already have some partnership with some universities in Germany where we're already working on some projects.
Okay, so the anthem is being played. Let's listen in. Is about to inspect the full military guard of honor in respect of his visit. His Excellency Frank Walter Steinmeier, President of the Federal Republic of Germany, is now being escorted to inspect the Guard of Honor. After the Guard of Honor, there will be a national salute. Immediately after the national salute, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama will receive His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Germany. Of course, there are Ghanaians here to demonstrate the beauty of our culture with a cultural performance. Immediately after that, the two officials will be joining a meeting, that's the bilateral meeting, at the credentials room. Now, Germany and Ghana have had very good relations. And I believe that over the last 60 plus years, there's been a lot of benefit for Ghana in terms of the economy, in terms of trade, etc. For you as an international relations person, help us appreciate how important this visit is.
Right, it's a very important visit, especially when you consider Germany as the largest economy in Europe. If your bilateral relations with Germany are intact, if trade is flowing, there are political consistencies and projects that the two countries are doing. What it means is that you are having access into the wider European area. So you have, instead of a country, you have access to the rest of the 27 countries. And my understanding is that Germany also are having some agenda in terms considering the visit. Ghana already, we have some projects or conversations that we've been having with them. The church, the Pentecost Church has been one. The Alliance Française, that's for the French, but they have the Goethe Institute. And you would also realize that a lot of their conversations, a lot of their distances are in education, and that is where the research conversations are heading towards.
Good. So the German president has just finished inspecting the military guard of honor. He will go back to the podium where the anthem will be played. Let's listen. We are live at the presidency where the president of the Federal Republic of Germany has just arrived. This is part of the ceremony to welcome him. He's been inspecting the military guard of honor. So the president of Germany has just finished inspecting the military guard of honor. From where you see him in your shot, he's walking towards where His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is waiting to receive him officially to welcome him to the presidency of Ghana. Just around this same period, the German president will be given a taste of a typical Ghana culture, where the Wulomos are performing the typical traditional dance. Germany has had a very good relation. So you see them in short, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has been very busy in the past few days, crisscrossing countries, working hard to improve Ghana's image across the globe. And back here in Ghana, it is good news.
Yeah, certainly good news, especially our president. I call him the working president. I understand he was in Cairo about a couple of days ago to unveil a new museum by the Egyptian president. He's already been to the Asia Pacific. He's done China, he's done Singapore, Japan, and he's back. And the German president is here. That certainly signals a lot of things. One, renewed confidence in the relations, especially the renewed confidence in the presidency of John Dramani Mahama, obviously building on bricks laid by the erstwhile administration. So it is important that we look at the real reasons for this visit. And my understanding is that a number of things have been tabled for this particular visit. On our side, we are considering the economics, the politics, the trade, and also the geopolitics. And I want to believe that the German presidency being here also have some geostrategic reason for which reason they are here. So hopefully we'll discuss that as and when they go on.
That's very important. So on your screens are the typical cultural display or a reflection of the typical culture. And they are the ones privileged here to welcome the visiting German president. I told you earlier the two countries' relationship dates as far back as 1951, when Germany officially opened an embassy in Ghana. And in the same year, in 1951, Ghana also opened an embassy in Germany. But of course, if you have read history, you have read a history of education, or you are somebody who is a theologian or a typical Christian who has followed how Christianity surfaced in our part of this world, you would notice that Germany has had this relationship with Ghana as far back as 1661, when the preacher Wilhelm Müller from Hamburg was appointed preacher for the Danish colony on the Gold Coast of Africa. And that traces to the Evangelical Ewe Church, today Evangelical Presbyterian Church. And of course, the first ever Bible translated in the local language ever, we are told, had a lot of handwriting by the Germans who actually educated us. So if you go to the Kwewu areas of the eastern region, if you go to most parts of the Volta region, if you go to most parts of the western, central, and Ashanti region, and even the northern region, the footprints of the Germans are there. Now let's look at the economy of the two countries. Of course, Germany and Ghana have had very good relations, and then you would notice that the two countries have had things people will say mutual beneficially good agreements that have been signed. Now help us appreciate the impact so far over the past few decades.
Yes, from our post-independent period, starting from 1957 up until 2020, that certainly is giving us almost about 60 years of Ghana-German relations. And we've seen a lot of exchanges, financial exchanges. We've seen industrial technical assistance provided by the Federal Republic of Germany. And the figures that we've been looking at has grown from 1957 It was just around 1.5 billion euros in development aid. But between 2018 to 2020, bilateral assistance to Ghana amounted to 145 million euros.
So that means that between 1957 and 2020, the cumulative support Ghana has received from Germany is about 1.57 billion euros. And in 2020, between 2020 and 2018 alone, it's over 145 million euros. Now, tell us more about this trade. It can be technical, it can be training, the relationship between the two countries.
Yes, it's really very important. As I was intimating, Germany literally is the gateway to 27 other countries in the European Union. And the European Union, by far, is the largest economic area in the world because it's got some of the richest countries in there. There are the France, there is Germany, and so recently there was Britain, but Britain dismembered itself from the European Union since 2016.
And so on your shot, the typical traditional dance of the Gans in full display as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama escorts his counterpart to cheer them up as they walk through the lobby. Now, let me help you to understand what will happen next after this brief inspection of the Guard of Honor. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and his counterpart will have a brief meeting at his office on the 4th floor here at the presidency. Just 5 to 10 minutes, we expect them to retire to the Credentials Hall, where the officials will be joining a bilateral meeting by officials from both sides. After the bilateral meeting, the two sides will be expected to address a joint press conference. As we speak, President Mahama is introducing Ghanaian officials to the German side. I see Honorable Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, Dr. Valerie Sawyer, John Jinapor, Felix Kwacho-Fosu, Joyce Bawa Mokhtari. Of course, officials from the Foreign Affairs Ministry are also in queue waiting to be introduced. The German president will obviously be introducing his side to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. These are for the photos, but there's more to it.
No, certainly this is the cream of Ghana's political leadership. You have members of cabinet well represented. Just like you mentioned, there is the energy minister, there are top advisors at the presidency, there is the government communications persons, and the German president seems to be having a very good time in exchanging pleasantries. The President John Dramani Mahama obviously does what he does best, anchoring Ghana's foreign policy with the right partners. As we've mentioned earlier, he's been to the United Nations General Assembly where he delivered a very, very powerful speech that caught on with the international community. Ghana is repositioning itself as an investment corridor. We've seen what the GIPC has been doing, led by the venerable Simon Maji. I understand he's been pitching to business community audiences in Tokyo. He's done that in Singapore. He's formed part of the delegation that recently came back from the People's Republic of China. And I want to believe that he is part of this delegation, mapping things, re-articulating Ghana's investment diplomacy.
So the two officials have introduced delegates from the two sides. That's the foyer of the presidency. They'll quickly be taking a picture. They'll be shaking hands, and this is just a photo opportunity at the presidency. So that's the foyer here at the presidency in Ghana. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is welcoming the President of the Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Now, after this handshake, the two leaders will retire to the office of President John Mahama. That will just be brief, after which they will come down to the Credentials Hall, which I've told you earlier. If you have just joined us, the Credentials Hall is where the bilateral meeting will take place. After the bilateral meeting, the two leaders will retire to the auditorium where a joint press conference will be addressed. We are told that there will be the signing of a memorandum of understanding, after which there will be a state luncheon. So you see the cameramen there who obviously should be setting up for the press conference after the bilaterals. Now, I was talking to you a little about the relationship between Ghana and Germany, and I drew us back to history as far back as 1661. Here are some highlights of how the two countries have traveled all this while. For example, in the 18th century, Anton Wilhelm Amo became the first African-born philosopher and scientist in Germany, and this is a Ghanaian. In 1847, the Evangelical Ewe Church, today we call it the Evangelical Presbyterian Church, was founded by the Germans. In 1884, a German colony was established in the Volta region. Don't forget that we've always been hearing the Western Togo land until just about 3-4 years ago. It became an issue when some people felt like the Western Togo land should be a separate country. The genesis was as far back as 1884, when that colony belonged to German Togo, until 1916, when the German colonial architecture, which still survives in the town of Bando in the Volta region. So the Voltarians have had very good relations with the Germans. Now, from 1921 to 1972, there have been other engagements. Help us appreciate those ones.
Yes, so from 1921, German missionaries were expelled from the Volta region by the British colonial authority.
Now, you will go ahead, but in your shot now is the Credentials Hall, where the two sides should be engaging themselves before the joint press conference. We expect that the presidents of the two sides will join them shortly. But on the Ghanaian side, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, the Chief of Staff Julius Debra, the Executive Secretary to the President, we are told, is bereaved, but we understand that in his place, the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwacho Fosu, will be sitting in the bilaterals. We also have the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. The Energy Minister, you saw in your shots a while ago, is also going to be part. Then the Trade Minister, Elizabeth Ofosu Ejare, Joyce Bao Mokhtari, the Presidential Advisor and Special Aide. They are on the side of the Ghanaians. On the German side, if I go through my name, my list, and bear with me if some of the pronunciation will appear a bit difficult for me. The German president will be the leader of the team from their side. The state secretary, head of office of the federal president, Dr. Dot Adenga, Miss, will also be part of this bilaterals. We have the Minister of State, Federal Foreign Office, which I would say is almost like the foreign ministry here in Ghana, is also going to be part of this bilateral. And then we have the Parliamentary State Secretary for the Federal Ministry, and then he's in charge of economic cooperation and development. This is very, very significant because for us as a developing country, such visits should not just be for the pictures or for the optics, but Ghana stands to benefit more. And I believe that what will be tabled, which will inform the bilateral meeting, will be important. Then, of course, the German ambassador to Ghana would also be part, and then the head of the foreign policy department will be part of this. So, in your short, all the officials I've mentioned are seated. They are going through their briefing notes, and we expect that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the President of the Federal Republic of Germany will join them, and the bilateral talks will officially begin.
Yes, very Much so. Looks like our side very ready, led by the hardworking Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and obviously flanked by top officials at the presidency. And as we were intimating, we were establishing the historicity of German-Ghana relations. And as of 1921, missionaries were expelled, and we all know why. Germany lost most of its territories or colonies after the First World War, for which reason we even have some issues today.
Okay. And so that is exactly so. But you were referring us to from 1921 to 1957 or thereabout. So just help us appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. So around 1956, the Federal Republic of Germany opened a consulate in Accra, which was converted into an embassy a year later after the official establishment of diplomatic relations. And as we all know, in foreign policy, the establishment of a diplomatic post signifies formal relations between two entities. Now, in 1960, Ghana also opened an embassy in Bonn. That was the capital of the Federal Republic of Germany at the time. And also the Goethe Institute was opened in Accra. And as of 1972, Ghana also established further diplomatic relations with the Republic of Germany.
And so for many of you who have joined this live feed from the presidency of Ghana, it's all about the official state visit. So in your shot is the ambassador, German ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Frederick Landschaft. In your shot, he has been representing Germany in this country. Prior to the arrival of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Germany, we have been engaging him in a series of meetings to ensure that what we are witnessing now goes on successfully. And let me also help you to understand what will happen after all the engagements here at the presidency. What you see in your shots are the officials going through their briefing notes. Dr. Valerie Sawyer, in short, the officials from the Foreign Affairs Ministry. After the bilateral meeting, there will be a joint press conference to be held here at the presidency at the auditorium. After the joint press conference, President John Dramani Mahama will host the German delegation led by the president at the banquet hall for a state luncheon. Then from there, the president of Germany is expected, and that's what will happen tomorrow. Tomorrow will be another tall day for him. Today, after all these engagements, we expect that he will visit the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. But after visiting the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, we expect that tomorrow he will spend the day in Kumasi. He will be traveling to Kumasi on the third day of his visit, where he will perform a sword cutting ceremony at the Kumasi Technical Institute. He will also interact with the Vice Chancellor and staff and alumni of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He will also visit the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research before paying a courtesy call on the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. Now, let's focus on some of the activities that will take place in Kumasi. He's performing a sword cutting ceremony. He's visiting most of the tertiary institutions in Kumasi proper, and I'm talking about the traditional ones, typically the Kumasi Technical Institute, and of course the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Later he will meet Asantehene, where I believe that he will also have the opportunity to witness what the Ashanti Kingdom reflects in terms of tradition.
Yeah, most definitely, Eric, because this is more of a reenactment of German-Ghana relations across varying issues or subject matters. The culture is important, the visits are important, deepening German-Ghana academic exchanges are important. As you had already intimated, Germany as a country has made lots of investment into Ghanaian education. We've seen the scholarships that Ghanaian students are offered year in year. There is the Erasmus Plus Mundo scholarship that offers lots of Ghanaian scholarships. There are also research grants that the German government provides. I have been a recipient of one of Germany's grants, that's the DAD grant, and we've used that in working for the good of our people. So for us, we welcome and encourage very important bilateral discussions, bilateral relations that would inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian people. And my understanding also is that Germany is also here because they have an ambition to vie for the non-permanent seat on the Security Council next year, and they want to buy the support of the government of Ghana. Also, considering that Ghana has a very good grandstanding amongst the Committee of Nations in the sub-region in Africa, and the support of Ghana would go a long way in ensuring that Germany is able to realize its geopolitical ambitions. There are other issues as well, quite controversial, but my understanding is that the government has some commitments that it has to make to German companies. As of my last check, about 80 of them have been operating in the country, and recently we've also seen a lot of expansion in automobile assembly plants that are coming from the German government. And certainly it goes to tell you that the relationships are deeper beyond trade, into business, into commerce, into politics, and obviously into deepening our cultural relations.
Yes, of course. You've hit it right on the head of the nail. And you remember in July this year,
Yes.
when the then outgoing German ambassador to Ghana came to the presidency here, His Excellency raised a number of issues. I want to quote specifically some of the highlights, the interesting points he raised. One, to be specific, was about the German support for our economy, which you have spoken about extensively. But many people don't know, for example, that the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center is operating efficiently because of some of the funding support we receive from the Germans. This center has trained a lot of Ghanaian security men, people in academia, people in management, and of course people from the sub-region, from security services or countries within the sub-region have had opportunity to study at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Now, the President of Ghana also spoke about what he described as collaborative efforts with international partners, including International Organizations for Migration, IOM, and the European Union. Ghana has been speaking a lot about the export of our human resource, especially when government is seen to be creating jobs for the youth. We believe that we can also transfer knowledge, and the Ghanaians who will be in Germany by way of us exporting some of our trained personnel, they would also learn and come back home and transfer that into helping us to grow as a people, to develop our country, to solve problems, and of course to transfer what best practice we can adopt here for the enhancement of what we do. And so I believe that such visits will translate beyond the spectacle of the convoys you may see on your street if they drive past your community, or what you may be seeing on TV as handshaking. Now, let's look at this government's priority projects. This government talks about infrastructure, captured under the big push. This government talks about developing agriculture and agribusiness under the 24-hour economy. Germany is one such country which has the capacity. What should our officials be seen to be engaging the German officials beyond the bilateral meeting we will be witnessing today?
All right. So the government of Ghana, per my checks, is looking at deepening its economic cooperation with Germany. As things stands now, the government of Ghana has about 250 million euro worth of trade with Germany. It has access through Germany into the wider European area. In other aspects, Ghana already informally exports skills to Germany. But my understanding is that one of the reasons for the German government's visit is to formalize that kind of skills migration and standardize it in a manner that provides a lot of government support to our young people who have found a reason to do some work in Germany. And that is a call in the right direction, because our East African counterparts like Kenya have already done that. In fact, the Asian countries, the Filipinos, the Taiwanese, they have always had a state-to-state agreement with other governments so that they are able to properly monitor the labor rights, the labor regimes in other countries, provide consular support to our citizens who are working in other countries, so that anytime there is an issue, the government of Ghana, through its mission in Germany or elsewhere, can properly account for you. Because some of the issues that emerge out of third-party contracts with recruiters in other countries is problematic. Works we have done from Foreign Africa has focused on labor abuse and torture in the Gulf states. We've seen through first-hand accounts women who have been thoroughly abused. Labor laws are not respected. They work beyond the required number of hours they're supposed to be working. Sometimes they are held in detention against their rights. And the government of Ghana is unable to track all of these issues, because the important point here is that for our people, what they need are jobs that are very scalable, jobs that provide them 3 square meals, jobs that ensure that they can save some money at the end of the day. They are not going to be in the rat race, as we've seen, where they are living from hand to mouth every time. But the most important point here is that governments must be innovative. If the government decides or feels that they may not have the capacity to provide the kind of jobs that the people want, jobs, we mean jobs that are sustainable, jobs that are formal, jobs that take care of your medicals, jobs that can provide you some level of good life. And if these opportunities are in other bilateral states, it is important that we formalize these agreements and ensure that our people, especially Ghanaians who have been educated, some people who have skills but do not have the opportunity to practice or implement those skills over here. Several other countries are ready. The German government is ready. The foreign minister with his team, I want to believe that they have had extensive conversations with the German counterpart on how many number of our young people we are sending to Germany. Similar things have been done with some countries in the Caribbean. I know the Dominican Republic a couple of weeks ago also entered into bilateral agreement with the government of Ghana to also export some medical staff to that country. Our hope is that a lot of these things are not just lip services beyond the convoys and the pomp and pageantry that we saw at the forecourt this morning. But for us at Foreign Africa, we have started tracking the job creation promises. We have started tracking all the projects, the promises that have been made. We've tracked jobs that were promised in Japan. Our understanding from the foreign minister is that about 300,000 jobs will be created through the Big Push project. The Singapore and the Japanese counterparts are looking at investing close to $1 billion, injecting it in our economy. But the question we are asking is, who is tracking all of these promises?
That's a good question, but I believe the Foreign Affairs Ministry has said that the diplomatic community representing Ghana is not going to do things as has been the tradition or the convention. All the ambassadors have been given KPIs. These KPIs, beyond seeking investments to Ghana, marketing Ghana abroad, would also involve all the activities that will at least give some encouragement to Ghanaians living abroad, because government benefits a lot from remittances back home. And so the anticipation is that this government wants to properly do this to make sure that the records or the database will give it a better reflection of what is coming in the inflows to be able to do better projections and how to manage this economy. And that is why you'd notice that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, in all the exchanges he has had, either at his office with foreign businesses or foreign nationals representing their countries, at his meeting, home or abroad, he talks about the transfer of human resource, the export of human resource. Of course, if Ghana is sending, let's say, 30 nurses, 100 nurses to Barbados, for example, Ghana should have an idea about how many people are there and how the work by these people who have been transported to Barbados will be benefiting Ghana by extension. Yeah. So I believe that the question you have asked, who monitors this, there should be processes. Of course, institutions like yours, civil society organizations, also play a critical role when it comes to governance, especially because they do proper ticking of the boxes. The anticipation is that if government is marking itself, it may overscore itself. But when you have people who can genuinely and, of course, fairly assess any government, a listening government should be able to see where it is failing to be able to fill those gaps. You made reference to something about education or jobs abroad. Yeah. For example, there are around 3,000 students from Ghana studying currently in Germany. We are told the numbers are far more than what we have been given. Yeah. There are 22 university cooperations between the two countries, which talks about technology transfer or exchange of ideas through academic platforms. And then we also have the German presence, which is even felt much more in the German-Swiss International School. And then we have over 50,000 Germans who have direct relationship with businesses either in Ghana or back home in Germany. And so the relationship has been very huge. Now, for those who may have joined this live commentary, I just want to share with them what will be happening as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Federal Republic of Germany, retire from the President's office to join officials who are meeting currently, waiting for them at the bilateral room. After they join them, there will be a joint press conference. His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Germany, later this afternoon, after the state luncheon, is expected to tour the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, where he will lay a wreath at the tomb of Ghana's first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Again, later today, is expected to have engagements with young Ghanaian IT specialists at the Design Hub at Osu in Accra before he's expected to wrap up the day around 7 p.m. with a special reception at the residence of the German ambassador in Ghana. Today we talk about AI, we talk about technology, we talk about modernization and technology transfer, and of course this government makes reference to 1 million coders program. We believe that Ministry for Communications and Digitization, for example, will be interested in the special interest the German president has to meet with young IT professionals.
Yeah. No, certainly very important. For us, one of the things we've been looking at is also public diplomacy. How do citizens of a country directly benefit from other governments without necessarily going through government bureaucracy? And this is what the German president is really doing. He's decided through his advisors on the ground to visit some innovation labs. And we believe that in Africa these days, you have the highest number of entry firms. In fact, if you look at where job creation is globally, Africa has the highest number. But there is a paradox. The paradox is that within the first 3 to 5 years, most of these businesses fold up. Hence, these businesses are looking for all kinds of support. And the support is not only limited to the government of Ghana. The support extends to the diaspora. The support extends to diplomatic missions. The support extends to every other partner and counterpart that believes that job creation should be a key component of bilateral and multilateral agreements. And if the German president is visiting an innovation lab, we welcome that. We encourage that. We take Germany as a very important partner that supports all kinds of ventures and enterprises in Ghana. And for us, particularly at Foreign Africa, these are the kind of things we want to see. These are the kind of things we want to encourage, because the statistics on job creation, employability in a country is not very good. If you look at data published by the Ghana Statistical Service and also our National Pension Regulatory Body, SNIT, it tells you that people are earning as low as 1,400 cedis in this country. And if you want to look at it properly in dollar terms, that's just around $100 at the end of the month. So foreign governments should also take particular interest in the livability of citizens in African countries, for which reason they can also make direct support, offer these business-conscious young people opportunities, some funding to scale up. Because at the end of the day, it is all part of government's agenda. Government is talking about jobs, jobs, and jobs. And we both know that since 1992, most of our governments have not really had a very good plan. So if we are now in the process of formalizing skills acquisition, skills transfer, where the government will monitor all the ventures and the activities that we want to do, then certainly it is a very good call, and would encourage the German president to visit other places. There is Kantamanto, there are social innovators, there are startups who are looking for just an opportunity with the German mission in Accra. And we hope that visits should not only be limited to political visits or high-ranking official visits that exclude young innovators, young business people who would also be needing some help from diplomatic missions.
Okay, so for those of you who have just joined us, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama at the moment has just welcomed the President of the Federal Republic of Germany. The two leaders are about entering the Credentials Hall, where officials from both sides are seated waiting for the bilateral meeting between the two to take place. This bilateral meeting is very significant because Ghana is looking at partners in terms of trade. Ghana has managed to reform many of its policies, tax policies to be specific, and that is making it more attractive. This economy has improved beyond expectations of the World Bank, of the IMF, of many of the rating agencies, and so the investor confidence is back. And just over the past 8-9 months since His Excellency John Dramani Mahama took office, a lot of countries have demonstrated a positive response towards helping Ghana and Ghana's economy to grow. And so as the two leaders join this bilateral meeting, we hope that the joint press conference will highlight some of these key areas that should be of interest to every Ghanaian. Every Ghanaian wants this economy to grow. Not growth in terms of numbers, growth by way of evidence, in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of job creation, from the jobs that will be created. This government talks about the Volta Economic Corridor, which will fall under the 24-hour economy. They talk about Feed Ghana. They are talking about irrigation project. Germany. I have been to Germany a couple of times. They are entering the bilateral room now. That's the Credential Hall. You can see them entering the hall now. Now, as soon as they enter, the information we have is that the two leaders will make some brief remarks. After those brief remarks, then we will be wrapping up and then take you to the auditorium where we expect the two leaders to come back and address a press conference. So until we get to the auditorium where the two of them will be addressing us, you'll notice that the two leaders are now seated. Now, while they are seated, let me also walk those who have joined us through some few important points that so the Minister for Foreign Affairs is welcoming them. Can we listen to them now? Okay, so while the Minister for Foreign Affairs is welcoming the leaders, let me tell you in authority that Ghana and Germany will be having these relations by way of looking at security. Ghana has had a lot of support in terms of security capacity building from the Germans. Economic cooperation, my colleague spoke about it, trade and investment, technology transfer, and cultural exchange. He talked about the Goethe Institute. We talked about religion, the genesis of religion as far as the Presbyterian faith is concerned. The Germans played a key role when they were in the Quetta area of the Volta region, and later to the northern belt, the Hohoi areas to be specific, before extending their influence across the coastal belt and the middle belt, especially most parts of the eastern, and later over the decades after their presence in the 1600s, late 1600s, their presence was much felt in the northern belt of this country, particularly in the upper east belt of this country. In 2023, the Chancellor of Germany visited Ghana. That is in October. That meeting also played a very significant role as far as Ghana-Germany relations is concerned. And of course, a lot of things evolved around Ghana's exports, especially cocoa, to Germany. As we speak, Ghana's imprint in Germany is a result of the mutual relationship. And the Foreign Affairs Minister, if you are with us and you are following the images on your screen, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is now introducing Ghana's side at the bilateral meeting. And you must have noticed from your shot now that seated are the Minister for Foreign Affairs, who is doing the introduction, the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Junapo, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Joyce Bawumia-Muktari, Presidential Advisor, Special Aid, is there. I've seen Dr. Valerie Sawyer. We should be wrapping up any moment from now, but for your information, there are over 80 active German businesses in Ghana. Yeah. Just brief comments so that we wrap up for this segment.
All right, so the volume of trade between Ghana and Germany has expanded tremendously. The 80 companies is a testament of the confidence that the Germans have in the Ghanaian economy. We've seen our economy rebounded. The rating agencies have brought some confidence back. Our investments corridor has seen some avowal. People are beginning to do all.
All right, so that's how we wrap up the first part of the visit by the president of the German, that's the Federal Republic of Germany, to the presidency here in Accra. The bilateral meeting has officially begun. So all the pressmen have been asked to leave and allow the officials to finalize what they will be putting their signatures to by way of a memorandum of understanding. After which we will continue to share with you live on the presidency's social media handles, and of course where you can also catch us live on other media platforms, Wezo TV to be specific, where we'll bring you the live coverage of the joint press conference by the two leaders. So thank you very much. Let's meet again in the next few minutes where we bring you the live presentations by the two presidents.
Citizen TV, Accra, Ghana. Citizen TV, the citizen's power.